Let's talk about Nitro, a lancer that is practically a must pick on any roster. In this video, I'll be showing you more than 30 tips and tricks from the basics to some pretty advanced stuff. If this is the first time you use this lancer, or even if you think you have mastered her, stick around because you might learn something new. Let's start with her kit and figure out what kind of lancer Nitro really is. Her signature ability, no surprises here, is her walls. They help you lock down sides and to defend from off angles. In the right hands, they are so strong that it feels like legal cheats. So when it comes to controlling space, Nitro gets a solid 10 in the controller category. Next up, Pew Pew, her deployable turret. This little beast can win rounds by itself if it's used properly. It's not just good for annoying enemies that tries to push aside, it also gives you intel on what's coming and from where. They are cheap, effective and incredibly useful, clearly a sentinel tool and a damn good one. That's another 10 as a sentinel. Her third ability is Chug Chug, the mini pet tank. This little monster has only one speed, 5th gear, and it's floated. Now, her attack might not be all that powerful. In fact, if she were an NBA player, her attack wouldn't even count as a foul. You must use Chug Chug as a tool and not so much as a weapon. This menace was built to breach sides, spot traps, and mess with the enemies just enough to throw off their focus while they try to take her down. So, thanks to Chug Chug, I would give her an 8 as an initiator. Now, when it comes to dueling, Nitro isn't really made for 1v1s. Her playstyle leans more towards support and control. That said, with a full kit and some insane wall placements, she can surprise enemies and take solid duels, and in fact, she can also get some first kills. So I'm giving her a 7 as a duelist. Not her main role, but certainly we should not underestimate her. The final conclusion, by the power vested in me, I hereby declare Nitro is completely and undeniably the most broken lancer in the entire game! Let's see now in detail all the tips to use this lancer. Tip number 1. Starting with the walls, going from basic to advanced tips, cutting to the chase. You have 2 walls and 2 turrets. For the walls, you need to wait for a 10-second cooldown to place one after the other. For the turrets, you don't need to wait that, so play smart with the times, place the first wall, and in the meantime you wait, use that time to place turrets. Tip number 2. How do you remove a wall? Nitro can stand very close and press F to defuse the 3 segments at once. This might be useful in some situations, like if you got stuck by your own wall and you need to disarm it. Any other lancer can remove walls by doing either one of these 2 things. Shoot at the wall and destroy it. The wall can hold a fair amount of damage, or attack with a knife. It only takes one light attack to break it, but you will be disarmed while doing so. Tip number 3. Enemy walls are red in comparison with yours. It's not important though, it resists the same if it's attacked by a friend or a foe. What is important is that walls are not high enough. Don't think that just because you place 2 walls, you can hold an entrance. Enemies can jump it with a fully charged knife. Tip number 4. Walls can be placed one on top of the other. There is one rule though. If the wall acting as a foundation gets broken, then the wall on top will also fall after a few seconds. Tip number 5. All the maps has at least one structure like boxes or covers. You can place one wall behind it and have a great cover. The quickest way to place a wall is to throw it and run against it before it is rendered. Tip number 6. Jumping behaviors. When you have a gun in your hand, you can jump one segment easily. You don't even need to crouch in mid-air. But when you have another wall in the hand, suddenly you are heavier. You do need to crouch to get on top of the other wall. Tip number 7. All the maps has at least one high structure that you can climb with a fully charged knife. These places are not ideal to duel. Instead, use these places to take them by surprise, attacking from off angles. Tip number 8. Most of the maps has some kind of setup where you might need 2 walls to pull off a cool play. Take Tundra, for example, you can pick from this window and catch enemies off guard. I actually put together a playlist with some insane Nitro wall setups for every map. If you're interested, make sure to check it out. I left the link down in the description. Tip number 9. There are some strange cases where you can create a wall to help an ally. These walls can be placed in one part of the map and it will glitch through walls appearing on the other side. In most of the cases, this is not quite useful, but is certainly food for content. Tip number 10. There are other ways to destroy a wall. For example, you can destroy the walls with utility such as blast from your secondary gun. Missiles also will be able to break your walls. The only exception is the fire. It looks like fire won't affect this cover. Tip 11. Walls can avoid traps to explode, like pathogen traps. Not only that, some traps requires to have line of sight. Even if you are standing in hair poison, you won't get affected if you are behind a wall. Tip number 12. There are some traps that cannot be blocked, like champs trapwires. You will be detected even if the trap is covered, so be cautious. Tip 13, and this might be the most important tip about hiding traps. Check out how I cover it. The preview seems to be off, like I am not fully covering the trap, but instead I'm placing it a bit behind. The result, once the wall gets rendered, will be exactly what you need. The trap will be fully covered and it won't trigger from any place. If you don't place the wall properly, there is a chance that the trap activates if you surround the wall. This is another example with hollow point traps. These ones can be blocked as well, which is great because usually hollow point snipes the site from far away and places these traps to hold her back. If you can lurk without breaking the traps, it would be even more epic when you take her down from the back. Tip 14. Shower traps are a bit different also. You can block the line of sight and prevent being detected, but if the trap activates for any reason, then the wall won't cover you from the damage, even if the line of sight is blocked. Let's go to the turrets. Turret tip number 1. You can place and recall turrets without waiting any cooldown. So pro tip, if you are defending a site and the action happens in the opposite side, pick up your turrets and take them with you. It might help you to retake the site. Turret tip number 2. You can throw the turrets from very far away using the lineup dot in the minimap. The further distance I know it can be thrown if you are standing in the ground is 29 meters. If you jump while throwing, it's going to travel just a bit more, not much more though. Turret tip number 3. You can actually place the turret on moving objects, like the pillar in Tundra. We can argue how useful that really is, but hey, it's definitely going to distract the enemies. Same goes to the revolving door in Dungeon. It will move with the turret too. So be careful, you might be ending up defending pure nothingness. Turret tip number 4. Turrets can sometimes fail to attach to a surface. When that happens, you'll see a small alert on your HUD, and the turret will automatically return to you. Now, I'm not exactly sure why this happens. It doesn't look like I'm placing it in an invalid spot, as you can see here. My guess, it has to do with the path that the turret travels. If you throw it from a spot that involves a trajectory over an area that you are not supposed to walk on, it might cancel the placement. But this rule seems to vary depending on the map. For what I have seen, turret tip number 5. You can retrieve the turrets by standing at 14 meters away from it. Turret tip number 6. Turrets will attack at a distance of 9 meters. Probably by now you already know that the blue area drawn when it's being attached is the radius of the attack, so keep that in consideration. Turret tip number 7. Place the turrets in off angles, so they need to turn around to disable them, and exposing themselves in the process. Turret tip number 8. The turret takes almost 10 HP per second. It's not much, but in some cases could make the difference, so always place the turrets. Turret tip number 9. Turrets will continue attacking even if Nitro dies. So a pro tip, and I cannot stress this enough, always throw your turrets. Even if you don't know where, just place it anywhere. It is better in a wrong place rather than in your cold dead fingers.
Clickety click click, right on the money.
Turret tip 10. Turrets will shoot at anything that moves, just like Nitro said. So, for example, even Chug Chug or jumpers will get targeted by turrets. Now, you might be thinking there is someone on the side, when in reality, it could be just an enemy Chug Chug and remotely driven from the other side of the map. The next tip is the key to not falling for that bait. Turret tip 11. When your turret attacks and hits an enemy, you will see a hit indicator in your HUD, but in this case it will be yellow. You will also see the damage taken to the Lancer. On the other hand, when your turret attacks an enemy gadget, the indicator will be white. It's important you learn to distinguish these two so you don't confuse what kind of enemy is entering the site. Turret tip 12. If you have both turrets in different places, you won't be able to tell which one is attacking. Turrets will cause damage, and you can predict where the enemy is standing thanks to the amount of damage indicator. This indicator will be always next to the affected Lancer, as you can see here behind the door. Turret tip 13. Turret tip 13. When the turret has an enemy at sight, the enemy will see a turret indicator in yellow. The turret will start shooting after 1 second or so. Turret tip 14. The turret has optics, but when you throw a flash, they won't be affected. Turret tip 15. On the other hand, smokes will prevent you to get detected.
Can't see a thing.
It is interesting that you can see the alert icon even if you are not in the line of sight. Turret tip 16 and the last one. Just in case you were wondering, you can't place turrets in Nitro's walls. When you try to attach the turret in a blank surface, it will just bounce back and attach in any other place. Let's talk about Chug Chug now, or better said Chugs, the pet tank that goes by she or her. Chug's tip number 1. When you press Q, you'll see an animation starts as she gets ready to deploy. But here's the trick. You don't need to wait for the animation to finish. Just press left click once and she'll drop instantly. Chug's tip number 2. When you come back to Nitro's perspective, Chugs will move to a sleeping mode, which makes a lot of noise. This noise distracts the enemy and they might try to destroy her, revealing their position, so use this to your advantage. Chug's tip number 3. Chugs has 150 HP. She is so solid that if you threw her into a black hole, she would bounce right back. Trying to destroy her takes a bunch of bullets, makes a ton of noise, and forces enemies to aim away from the key spots. Chug's tip number 4. She can jump up to 5 times and those jumps recharge after a short cooldown, as you can see on the jump indicator. Now, here is something that not everybody knows. If you just tap the jump, she'll do a small hop. But Chugs also can pull off a power jump. Just press and hold the jump key and she'll launch so high that she can easily clear a double wall without breaking a sweat. Chug's tip number 5. As I already almost explained to you, Chugs carries 10 missiles, and each one deals 20 HP of damage, which honestly isn't much. Pro tip, don't waste them trying to get kills. Instead, use them as an initiator. She can push into a site, trigger traps, reveal setups, and even destroy other turrets or gadgets. Also, keep this in mind, missiles always deal the same damage, 20, no matter if you hit the head, chest or feet. And if you miss slightly and hit near the enemy, they'll take 5 damage at the most, so forget about splash damage. This ain't your average rocket launcher. Chug's tip number 6. She can move in third-person view, and if you know your games, that's a huge advantage when it comes to clearing corners without being seen. Use that to your favor, get into position, spot enemies, and keep them in your sight before they even realize you are there. Tip number 7. Try using Chugs in post-plan situations to pick for you. Intel is everything, and Chugs can stay hidden near the converter while the enemies try to defuse. She can let you know if it's a real defuse or just a fake out. Think of her as a remote cam you can activate from anywhere. I tell you, Nitro with Chum is a guaranteed converter explosion. Chug's tip number 8. If you didn't know, you can actually recall Chug Chug by getting close to her and pressing F. Then you can redeploy her again after just 1 second. This trick is perfect for carrying her across the map when rotating or prepping for a retake. But here's the real power move. When you redeploy her after a recall, she comes back fully healed, with all 10 missiles loaded again. And final consideration, any item you place, it can be destroyed by the moving environment. The revolving doors will destroy your turret and walls if you place them on the floor. Chug will not be affected, but it will be moved a little bit though. And that's it. This video took me 4 days to make it, a lot of effort. If you got this far, first of all, thank you. And second, please consider leaving a like, comment, and subscribe if you really like it. I'll leave you other videos that will help you to improve in Fragpunk. See you in the next one. Bye bye.